Hey everybody. Thanks again for joining me here at GFNeasy. If I'm doing anything to add some value to your time maybe and a little understanding as to what people who deal with, autism, cognitive disabilities and physical disabilities, the whole point is to help. The whole point is to give some traction. And today I'd like to talk a little bit about social moidah. It's what I call it. Raising children, we all know, comes with embarrassing moments, right? Times you're like, woohoo, ha! A little humility there. When you're messing around with somebody who's, when you're trying to love somebody who's got, issues, there's a lot of embarrassment that comes with it. Let's be real. I talked about it a little bit. I mean, the ego portion of it, where, frankly, a man makes a family a lot of times for legacy and to, come on. I don't even know how to explain these things. We make a family for those reasons, for legacy, to continue and keep going and provide awesome. Okay. All right. So, like, when one of your children is sick and messed up, and it's like the recovery, you don't know what you're going to get out of it. It's deflating. It's a very easy word to use. It's deflating. And God bless anybody who looks at their ego and says, boop, let's poke that. Right? But we're all better off. I mean, we can't help but be egotistical. It's a survival instinct to some degree. But, boy, can it get uncomfortable when you're running around with somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, has no rules socially. That gets stupid fun sometimes. It's like out of this world. So let's go with it. I'm going to start right off the bat with one of my favorite things I ever dealt with him. And I'm going to leave... The darker your skin, the more interested in you he was. Period. So if you purple black, he was into it. And I imagine... I mean, first of all, so what? Who cares? Right on. Awesome. Yeah, who cares about that? But the social impact was kind of weird because, like I said, and anybody who knows, when you're dealing with these people, you're not like bouncing around socially, like, hey, let's go, come to my place or go to your place, whatever. It's harder to be social. You've got this hot mess. So, you kind of shut down socially, in a lot of ways, emotionally, ... And believe me, when you suffer, come on, everybody's suffering, you shut down. All right, so, my boy, I'll give you a great example, and this is kind of funny, and, my eldest son's going to school, and he's on his own schedule, and they're, a year and a half, 2 years apart, or whatever, and I remember one time, we were taking him to school, or picking him up, whatever, and Sean would bolt towards he bolted towards this one black dude and reaches with two hands right at him and grabs his private parts. Yeah. My boy, like 4 or 5 years old. Diddle-diddle-diddle-diddle, clunk, what you got there, dude? It's like, ah! So I run up to the guy and I'm just like, I'm sorry. I don't know what he's doing. I tell you what, though, he really likes black skin. And the dude, first of all, was mortified because a child just ran up and grabbed his jock. There's a lot of things going on there. Uh-oh. Right? Can you imagine, dude? Right? Just some child running up and boink, grab you in that. He wasn't like hurting. He was just like, hey, I know you got one of those. Bonk. Oh, God. So I just tell the guy, look, I'm so sorry. I don't know what he's doing, but I know he loves black skin. And dude's face went from, what's going on to... And he walked away, shaking his finger, nodding and smiling. Because he knew dude was, my little dude was kind of, clearly not playing with our deck. And at the same time, there I was just owning it. Talk about humility. I mean, yowzer. It was really something. I mean, that was one of the real eye poppers for me. I was like, wow, I'm dealing with this too. Okay, cool. Turns out, I'm not worried about that. I can play those things. There's no negativity or anger here. A little uncomfortable, but we'll get there, no problem. So that was one of my favorites, the social Moidah on that level. And I'm going to keep going on the black skin because I'm not joking. He was really into it. And I buy grades. I tell the children, you bring in A's, you bring in B's, I'm whipping out my wallet. You're going to get paid, but since you're a child, you don't really need money as much. You probably want video games and bitchin' shoes and things like that. I got you. So my eldest son, always with the great grades, a little bit of a dip in 7th grade. Who doesn't? He's killing. Anyway, so we're at GameStop. And, I got the Nintendo Switch, I think, at the time, or the PlayStation, whatever. I spend time playing with my kids, and this is what we do. Duh. Okay, so right on. So we're there. And now we've gotten to the point where I go to a park sometimes, and, we have some... We're getting around. It's not always a shit show getting out in the world. Sometimes we can pull it off and things are good. We did this, without a big deal. I mean, they didn't always happen, but they did. It never happened before. Now it's happening sometimes. Progress. Make no mistake. Anyway, so I'm in line at GameStop. And there's a good line behind me, whatever. And I'm pulling out my wallet, and I'm at the point of sale doing the thing. And then I look over my shoulder just to check my people, and I don't see Sean. And I'm like, oh, crap. Where did he go? Excuse me. I'm going to go find that. So I find him, and he's a few things back in line. And he's standing next to this enormous black lady. I mean, she was huge. She was very, very thick in every way, and she was not short either. She was an enormous black lady. And she had her people with her, I don't remember, sons and daughters, maybe, I don't know. She had a few people with her. And my son is going... He's touching her arm. He's just touching her enormous arm and just gently pushing his fingers down. And I look over, and this is clearly not a violation. It's clearly a curious child, and she was just looking at him doing it. But of course, I walk up. I said, "Oh, excuse my boy. His name is Sean." And I'm used to saying this at this point. I said, he just loves black skin. I hope you, and I'm sorry about that. And she goes, "Oh no, it's okay, baby." And she pulls up her sleeve a little more and just shows him, "Go, don't touch it, baby." And I was "Oh, great, no problem. Let me just go right back to the point of sale and let him stroke your arm. Great." That's where we were starting to get socially. It's he's doing that wackiness, and oh, you're cool with it? You got that for just a moment? Great, let me go finish this over here. And it was so sweet because this is truly an innocent little dude, and he's just wow, that's different. Oh, it's shaped different. It looks different. I mean, wow. I mean, it was really cool. And I may look. I'm a typical white guy, blonde hair, blue eyes, 6 foot Aryan mother. Here at you would find me to be. I'm not open-minded. I'm not closed-minded. I'm a human. I have no problem with where you're from. Ancestral exposure to the elements is why we look the way we look. From hair, eyes, noses, all of that. The Norse nose, narrow nostrils to warm the cold air. African noses from the savannah, maybe, big pipes, warm air, bringing it in. Okay, look, we're all adapted to our environment. That's it. Anything else is asinine. Come get me. Anyway, this guy of mine would pull off this, just what I called social murder. And of course, he wasn't really hurting anybody. He was just embarrassing me. And I've already been humiliated 1,000 ways by this guy. I mean, at the time, I had commonly had cuts across my face, and just from him doing his thing, grabbing me, and all of that. So my idea of personal shame in such a way kind of didn't exist. But I am accountable to others and my social people. So I always accountable to them. I'm gonna jump forward a little bit in time here for another one that he pulled, and it's rather famous. Everybody knew. I think it was in the 7th grade, maybe 6th, 7th grade, middle school. And apparently they were having like a, like something in the auditorium where everybody's, doing their thing, and like everybody's there. Well, Sean was there. And apparently, now they have this on video, but apparently he was like, hey, what's that handle right there? Pulls a handle, fire alarm, the whole school evac. Fire department, the whole scene. And people saw him do it. And we all know you don't pull a fire alarm. That is a no, period. You don't do that. And everybody knows he did it. And when he did it, he just about pooped himself because he was like, hey, this is a funky light switch or whatever. God knows what he was thinking, but he wasn't thinking, I'm about to set everything off. But he went, and everybody, running out. And we get a call, I was married at the time, and we get a call saying, hey, we're going to have to talk about your son. He pulled the fire alarm today, and we just need you to come in. And it was like, okay. Cool, this is what, sure, answer up, right? So we come in there, and they're like, yeah, we got his teachers together, and we got the video, and we got everything together, and there's nothing we can do. We're going to let this go. We're just presuming that he's never going to do that again. He's never done it again or never done it before that we've heard or seen or report or whatever. And we did see that when he pulled it, he went like there's somebody dropped ice in his pants and he's like, oh my God, what did I do? Well, he got away with that. And that was kind of fun. Yeah. Yeah. So, some people get to pull that kind of thing off. And gosh. I'm going to tell you I'll tell you my single favorite. I kind of wanted to save this, but who cares? Look, so like I've mentioned with the food, it's a big deal. It costs a lot of money and learning new things and learning how to play a game, right? Well, I'm in a grocery store. Maybe it was Safeway or something like that out west. And, at this point, I could take Sean shopping because he's, we're a couple years into the protocol. He's probably around 7-ish. And, so I could take him to the grocery and we would walk together. And sometimes I'd take my tandem bicycle, throw his ass in the back. His feet were not long enough to reach the pedal, so he just put his feet on the frame and I would hustle. Yeah. And actually that would work. And we're going to have some stories about some discipline that happened on the bicycle. Do or die, bro. And I meant it. Hold on or die. Because I've had enough. Ooh, sticky times. Anyway, real, true. Anyway, we'll get to it. So I'm in the store. And like I mentioned before, we got to get rid of wheat. We're getting rid of corn. And we're kind of like good at this now. Like better than we were. Not as good as we are now, but we were getting good at this. So we knew. So we started shopping in the Asian, section of the store where they have rice noodles. Okay? Rice noodles. Rice is not so bad. Okay, and rice noodles, not so bad. So, rice noodles. And could we make like pad thai, things like that. We're starting to cook, man. We're getting good at this stuff. We're starting to make it tasty. And eventually we're going to get into what Gia Finisi really, really does. It's fantastic. But thanks for staying with me while I ramble. Oh, I'm stalling on this story because it's just so sweet. So I'm in this aisle, and I find the rice noodles. Now, at this point, like I said, getting into their world also means like doing dirt with them and then pulling them into your world. All right. So I did that. This rope is coming at you and it's going around your waist. You're coming with me. All right. So now we're at the store and I'm in the aisle and I'm finding the rice noodles and I'm getting my act together because I think I was going to make pad thai that night. Everybody like that? Cool. That's how we all got involved. That's how we all got into his world. The shit started circling around him. Even though he didn't know it was circling around him, everybody's doing what he's doing. So yeah, into his world. So now I can take him to the grocery store because he knows what's going on. He's about to get food that he likes to eat, and it's happening, and he's part of it. And at this point in the kitchen, he helps. Open boxes, put the noodles in the bowl, blah, 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 blah. I mean, yeah, man. Getting them involved, right? Great. So there I am. Grabbing a box of noodles. I'm like, oh, found them. Boop. put him in the box. And now to keep Sean involved, I look over to, catch him. And I don't need to have him like on a leash at this point. He can wander 10, 15 feet. As long as he's an eye shot, we're cool. I'm already used to all the funky things he's going to do. And of course, we try to discipline him in the way of communicating. That's what you do. Try not to do that again. Or, just give him the face. They get it. Anyway, I'm reaching for the second box. And I should involve Sean. So I look up the aisle. And there's Sean, like 20, 25 feet, 30 feet away at the most, Because he's looking at stuff too. Because I give him options. Like, if you see something you like, then just put it in the basket. And if we can do this, I'll do this. If not, I'll have to put it back. But just start with what you like, man. Input. Show me. And sometimes I'd buy things that I probably shouldn't, but I know he's really going to like. If it's sugar, maybe you get a lollipop. Was it Yummy Earth? We'd buy Yummy Earth lollipops. Because, it's a yeast feeder. But dang it, you got to put something rewarding in there to really keep them involved. Yeah, you got to eat that dry, bland bull crap. But you're going to get a lollipop. Okay, cool, great. So I'm trying to get them involved. And looking at it, I'm like, hey, I pull the second box. And I hold it up. I look over my shoulder. Hey, Sean, you want these noodles? And it gives me his little retarded, his signal. I'm really dirty with the retarded word, but I've earned it, and boy, is it fun. Anyway, it's genuinely his diagnosis, too, so call the doctor first. Anyhow, so I hold it up, I say, hey, you want this? And he's like, I'm like, cool. And I put it in the basket. And then I hear, oh, 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 oh. What's this? I don't know. So I look to where I think it's Sean. Uh-oh. Somehow a wheelchair-bound lady had come around the corner. Now, let me set this up for you. Sean doesn't need a lot of protein. His protein assimilation is super duper challenged because of the candida yeast and his ability for mineral transfer. Okay, I've talked about this before. And I'll talk about it more later. But right now, he's skinny as skinny can be. I mean, I'm skinny, but dude's skinny, all right? He's been malnutrition because of the yeast for a long time. He doesn't know how to use his hands yet proper. He knows how to hold stuff, but he doesn't know how to get down and really wrestle or catch. All right? So, I look over my shoulder, and he's got a wheelchair-bound lady by the handles, dipped her handles down, her knees are up in the air, and he's booking it. Just running. I've only seen this kid run 3 times, and it was 2 of them where fireworks were going off, and he runs like he's getting shot at. But I've never seen vigor and gusto out of him like this, ever. And and this lady's not small. She's kind of fluffy, and he's got her by the handles. Bam, 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 bam. I mean, he's on it. He's got his game face on. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And I mean it. I could not believe what I was seeing. And I've seen some real shit. This is special. Oh my God. So, it takes a moment for the brain to register what's going on. Okay? So I look over and I see that. And I'm like, what am I seeing? Laverne and Shirley. I'm not young. Laverne and Shirley. Lenny and Squiggy. You know when Squiggy be watching all day, he'd be like, right? That was me. I literally bit my fist. I'm like, how is this going to end? Because now, by the time my brain registered what was happening, dude was passing me with her. You see, he wasn't going slow. He was booking. I've never seen that, ever. I mean, again, you're running like you're getting shot at, but he never did that. This is the thing to do. I'm going to do this right now. We're having a calm moment, and I'm about to sprint. Check this out. Kids do that. He doesn't do that. Till today. So, he's got her handles down, knees up. She cannot use her legs. That's why she's in a wheelchair. Them legs ain't moving. And she is gripping, not the wheels. She's just gripping the chair itself, because I didn't see how it happened, but somehow he grabbed her and hot rodded her. And she's going, oh. And I'm kind of down the road on difficulty. I'm kind of down the road on humiliation. I'm definitely down the road on abuse. I'm definitely way down the road on fear. I still feel it, but it motivates me now. Look out. So, I can't help but enjoy the moment. Because I know what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a spectacle I'll never see again. Ever. And this is so fun and scary. Because while I'm biting my... I'm also thinking, how is this going to end? Because if he hurts this lady, he might need to be like locked up or some shit. This is not acceptable. My whole world is balancing on those two wheels. My retarded autistic son, a handicapped lady, and he's nearing the end of the aisle where cross traffic would be coming. Again, I couldn't cognitively make sense of what I was genuinely experiencing until he had already passed me. And that's when I like my fist, right? And I could not believe what I saw. I don't know how to describe it, but, well, I'll just describe it as best I can. So, it passes me, I'm freaking out, I'm thinking, how's this going to end? Uh-oh, there's the end of the aisle. And Sean knew the end of the aisle was coming. He got within about 4 or 5 feet of the end of the aisle, slowed his pace down, lifted the handles, as in no longer dipped back for the rock and roll, but lifted them up, placed gently the front wheels down. And, well, there's no other way to do it but kind of reenact it. But he kind of finishes the job, puts her down, leans his head in to her, smiles, and goes, he really did. He dipped his face into hers and just goes, and I'm watching all of this in an absolute daze that, like, this has just happened. I mean, everybody wants to hot rod those people just because it looks like fun, right? I mean, nobody wants to hurt anybody, but we've all been like, you know, that's his thing. I mean, come on. And he did it, and he put her down, and he got in her face and smiled and nodded. I was just like, this world, let's go. So I walk up to her, and now at this point, I'm laughing so hard I'm crying. And I mean it. My grin is just like... So that's what I did. I took my smile and smooshed my face in. I run up to that lady, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. He is not playing with a full deck. He's retarded. He's autistic. I had no idea. She goes, stop. That's the most fun I've had in years. I was like, what? Really? That's the ball. Unbelievable. So, woman, I don't know who you are, but you know who you are. And if you wind up seeing this message, you know you was in Castro Valley, California, going to get some food that day in the Asian aisle, and that little dude hot-rodded you. If you can find me, I got something for you. Okay? I truly do. Love, and I make jewelry. I would make you something very nice. I got nice stuff laying around. I've always loved that moment in my life. Talk about social murder. You know, so I'm a tweak a little bit here. And now my son, as we all know commonly, people on the spectrum or people in general somehow develop like skills that somehow help them, right? Like blind people have a echolocation kind of a thing going on. We have a way of compensating for our shortcomings. So his compensation for his communicative shortcomings is he's kind of telepathic. And it's with my grandmother, it's with me, I think it's with my daughter. It's definitely with Sean. He's had so many people say, hey, he can't talk, but I'm pretty sure he's like talking to me. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. So I kind of think that, I mean, she really said, no, stop. She stopped my pleading. And I was crying. I was laughing so hard. Yes! Moidah! Having fun out there. Like, I did not mean to, but yeah, I'll enjoy this moment for what it's worth. Poof! So, unbelievable. She says, that's the most fun I've had in years. And I thought to myself, he knew that somehow. He picked up on that somehow. Somehow she liked it. And he knew it. And he's never done that to anybody on any level. She somehow communicated. Somehow he understood. And somehow he gave her the ride of her life. And she loved it. Do not try that. Do not try that at home. You will probably not get the reactions that we did. But the reality is exactly what happened. So, honey, if you're out there, message me. I'll recognize your face. Don't bother. You know who you are. Any fakers out there, I'll blow you away. I mean, I know who you aren't. I know who this lady is. I'll never forget her face. Anyway, these are the kind of things that I had to deal with. And it was a lot of fun. But it was a real eye-opener, that moment with that lady, that Sean really is communicating on a level that I don't understand. And over the years, this guy is a radar dish. I mean, he understands what you're going through. And it's amazing. By watching and listening and doing all the things that we do for him, you realize he's communicating and aware of things on a level that most people aren't. And then I wonder, like, who's really ahead here? You know, I've told Sean a few times, it's like, dude, if you ever get your head together, tell me first. Because we're going to pull some shit first. Okay? And here's another one. Here's another social moidah. And this one blew me away. I still gets me. So we're in Costco. And I'm at the checkout. And I'm just, I'm checking out. Got my wallet out, doing my thing. And then the young woman behind the counter who's doing the things, boop, 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 looks up at me, boop, looks at Sean, boop, looks at Sean again. She goes, hey. I said, what? She goes, I used to be just like him. And I'm like, what? She goes, I used to be just like him. I said, what did you just say to me? She goes, I used to be just like him. And then one day something changed like a light switch in my head. And it all went away. I was like, whoa. What the fuck did you just say to me? You telling me that you used to be rocking and humming and all kinds of funky? You telling me that you were like this and now you're like that? And you have a job and you're communicating and you're speaking and you're reaching out and you're doing that? You used to be like this? And she's like, yeah. And when I said that, I was like falling backwards. Just hit me in my heart. With right through. I'll never forget that. It was Costco in San Ramon, California. Honey, if you're listening, you could reach out to me. I'll remember you as well. And thank you. And I sure hope you're doing well. Because that little moment from this young woman, who, after looking at her after she described it, I could see it. She probably was like that, but now she had a job at Costco doing the thing, talking and making it all happen. I walked out of there in two worlds in my own head. And it was really amazing because, wow, who gets that kind of communication in life? It's just like, wow. So it was inspiring, daunting, and, well, it was inspiring and daunting. I'll leave it at that. So, those are some of the things that you just wind up dealing with these kids. I talked about how we used to go to the grocery store and he'd flap and scream and go crazy and throw stuff and shoes and scratch and all that, so you can't really take them out. Not until you get that right. And then you start taking him out, and you realize he is not, socially adapted, and so he's doing things on his own like children do anyway. But I mean, it's not the use. And it was great because he was breaking down barriers. This skin may not be as inviting to some people, who are not white. And then when my little white dude come up and start stroking your skin because he thinks it's beautiful, and then you find out daddy is like, an echo of that. Um, it brings us together. It's actually kind of amazing. It's great. So, well, I say with social murder, it's just because, you take these rules and you throw them out the window with these people. But at the same time, you kind of have to hold on to them too, because you got to have structure, right? You got to have guardrails and boundaries. So that was one of the harder, funnier, really, really dichotomy of this whole thing is, wow, you got to deal with the social stigma, the irregularities, the real issues, and it's a real journey, like loving anybody else. But if you're in it to win it, as I am, and many of you are, you'll find that there's some stuff that's absolutely priceless. You'll find nowhere else, and it's a true gift. And I'm going to visit some more social murder stuff in Moidah in the future, but that's enough. I wanted to share some wacky, wow, these things happened, and it makes it for, I guess, the spice of life. There certainly was variety in the experience. So, and one thing that was kind of fun, like I mentioned, exceptional difficulty in the beginning. It made for a great appreciation for some of the more simple joys and some of the great appreciation for the hard-fought victories. So, just wanted to share this little bit, and I think I'm going to be preparing another one for later today. I got a lot on my mind, and this is all at around the same time when we were doing chelation, whatever, changing his diet, making a lot of progress, and all of this was happening while we were raising, our eldest son, who's wildly successful and a fine human. There was so much happening in just like 2 or 3 years. And, I think an episode or two ago, I talked about how we had mold growing in our bathroom upstairs and how that displaced us. And I also talked about how things are very expensive, and I've taken on a few jobs to make it happen. I'm going to seed the next episode with these things, and that is I'm an electrician by trade, and I actually went through the apprenticeship, 10,000 hours of the, on the job training and, school training. So, IBW, Local 595, that's who trained me, and that's where I came up. And that's how I got my health care, package that my boy was able to enjoy and take care of, or have that help take care of him. But I also needed more income. And I also had inguinal hernias that, well, they needed to be fixed. And I knew I was broken bodily, but needs need to be met. So I was an electrician. I would also set up grow rooms for people's peaches in California. I would also chase down air-cooled Volkswagens like the old Super Beetle and Carmen Ghia and the bus. I would chase them down, and I would buy them, fix them, or something. Because if you had them for a reason, and you probably want them fixed. So I'm an excellent auto mechanic. I have proof. I built an engine in my 74 Super Beetle 12 years ago. I have not dropped the engine for any reason. I keep driving it. Very proud of that. And I still have it. It's in the garage. Well, actually, it's outside the garage. You can see its little lump right outside the window. Right there. Ah, cool. So I did that. And I also had to, the gluten-free food and everything was very, very expensive. Susan Blanc, not inexpensive. I had doctors from Stanford come and draw my son's blood for $700 an hour. They were showmen. They wanted to see me next week, and I had to pay in cash. And while they mesmerized me by showing me his platelets and his little blood cells being irregularly shaped and not flowing through his body properly, I also realized they're not really giving me what I want. And that is, traction. They're just mesmerizing me. But I didn't know that at the time. So I had what I called my trident. I'm getting a little ahead of the time frame, but it's going to make sense. And my electrical, and whether it's side work or, on the job, I got my mechanical work with the Volkswagens. And in 2014, it turns out I can make jewelry. So I had these three things. But before that, I had electrical work. And in California, we grow a lot of peaches. And not everything is on the open and up and up. Sometimes they grow them in, basements and such. I have a very short memory. I have integrity. And I'm really good at what I do. So you're going to pay me. And I'm going to disappear. You'll never see me again unless you want more. Just like Susan Blanc said, never see you again. Bye. Sing with me. Never see you again. I don't know who you are. Cash. Peaches. Great. Bye. And it did give birth to a thing what I called one dub. And I believe in one love. My middle son's middle name is Marley for Bob. I'm not joking. It's exactly true. So, one love. Thank you, Bob. I'm also really into Volkswagens, V-dub. And I really like my reggae dub. So, one dub. Made sense. So that gave birth to that. This need to make more money gave birth to one dub. Gave birth to a whole new... Well, it turns out it wasn't a new skill set, and we'll get to that later, too. But it did have me tap into clearly what was genetic knowledge on how to do stuff. And a little experience, but you learn by doing, and it turns out I can do well. So I had a lot of different ways of making money. One of those ways caught up to me. The peaches caught up to me. And if it wasn't for the reason why, I tell you what, the law cares about what you do. It seems as if they care why, or they care about why you do what you do as much as what you do. Because I sure did get in a lot of trouble. And I'll be sharing that story. And that is the day I met Jesus. Yes, and Jesus was holding a gun to my head. And so were his disciples. Clearly they didn't pull the trigger. Thank goodness. I made it clear that I'm not here to fight. And that was a great decision. It's true. So it's not hard to admit. I'm not here to fight. It's certainly not the police. I actually really do back the badge. Even though I sometimes, maybe in the past, I may have, skirted some of those things that they stand for. I definitely back them. So, don't get me wrong. But I wanted to share this because I talked a lot about the money. And I'm not made of money. Nobody's made of money. I didn't have all the resources I needed, and I don't have places to turn so much. And pride had something to do with it. I didn't want to ask, I think. But there was some of that. But I didn't even know what I needed. Anyway, I turned to, shipping peaches. Because I could buy peaches for $600 and sell them for $5,800. I'm going to do that. Because I can't keep up on my regular income. So I'm going to have to hustle. I'm going to tell that story soon. And that story actually takes about, well, to some degree, it's still playing out today. To some degree. It's behind me. All of it's behind me. But it still kind of touches me today. I can just tell you that if it wasn't because of what it is I do and why I do what I do, I definitely wouldn't be making these videos. I definitely wouldn't have this to share with you. But it is because I have this to share with you that I didn't go and get locked up for 10 years minimum. That's right. I had a big day that day. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot about what I'm made of, what true justice is, and who Jesus really is. So I'm looking forward to telling that story. And it's actually going to come soon, because that's at the same time of this food figuring out, at the same time of getting his gut right. All this happened because it needed to be financed. And I put my ass on the line. And I paid. But I paid a fraction of what it really costs to... We'll get there. We'll get there. Look, I wanted to talk about social Moidah, and I wanted to talk about, everything I talked about, how much kind of fun we had in some ways. And, I promised to get into to the tandem bicycle, because there was a death-defying event sometimes, and it's either hold on or die. And I meant it. Either one's fine with me. I was insane. And it worked. It worked. So we'll talk about those things soon. We'll talk about how it is, I met Jesus holding a gun. Absolutely true. And thanks.